Well, what time is it?
It's
Yeah, and you can just, you know what to do.
showtime. It's actually time.
Okay, Shabbat Shalom. Well, we're beginning to increase our numbers of people at services. We still have quite a few people watching online, which is lovely, but it's more lovely to have you here with us, you know, just to see each other's faces. You know, I've done so many Zoom classes this year. I've been in so many Zoom meetings, and listen, they're better than obviously nothing, but you know, I miss looking into people's eyes. I miss the physical contact, a handshake or a hug. I have missed the body language. You know, when you're talking to somebody, you know whether you're boring them or not. By the way they're looking, you know, they can, you know, you know whether you're getting through and you don't get those clues, even with the electronic media, even over the internet, you don't. It's just not the same. So we're gradually growing back our in-house services. And so you may be wondering, why is Shai sitting here? I've asked him to be up with Scott and Manny and me this evening. As most of you know, Shai will be leaving us. He's been a wonderful, a spectacular synagogue administrator. He has guided us through this last 3 years so adeptly, and he's a mensch, and we love him. Anyway, and so he will be leaving us. He is going on to another congregation that's lucky to have him, larger than us, and it's a great opportunity for him. But, you know, he is not going to be in town next Friday. He's taking his son down to camp, and I'm not going to be here the Friday after that, which would be his last Friday with us. And so I wanted to sit on the bima with Shai and honor him, just say a few words about him later on this evening. Okay, so Cantor, would you get us going with a nigun? And I'm going to do a little bit of percussion.
You're invited to sing with me if you'd like.
Here you go.
That's it. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, lie. Lie, lie, la, 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 lie. Lie, lie, la, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, la, 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 lie. Lie, lie, la, 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 lie. Lie, lie, la, lie, lie, lie. Because of my brothers and friends, because of my sisters and friends, please let me ask, please let me say, peace to you. La 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 lie, lie, lie. This is the house of the Lord. We wish the best for you. This is the house of the Lord. We wish the best for you. Lie, lie, la, 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 lie, 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 la, 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 lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, la, 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 lie, 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 la, 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 lie, 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 lie.
Now let's see. Julie is watching And Rachel is watching, and Rabbi Jeff Gertz-Lender is watching, and Lucan is watching. So we say Shabbat Shalom to those of you who are online. In the meantime, we turn to page 120 for the blessing over the Shabbat candles and our Shabbat wine. And I'm going to call on Frank and Linda to come forward. Frank will lead us in the blessing over the wine, and Linda over the blessing for the candles. Linda, you begin, page 120. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu v'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Frank?
Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu v'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu Shabbat kodesh v'yavav ratzon hintin lanu zikaron le'maaseh bereshit ki hu yom techila mikra'ei kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim Kivanu acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodechecha v'yahava u'ratzon hinchatanu. Baruch atah Adonai Mikadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Frank. Cantor. Oh, we have a few more people watching. Marlene and Sheila and Sherry. And the Mallinsons are watching. And Linda Solomon and Marlene. So we say Shabbat Shalom to you all. And they extend Shabbat Shalom to their Temple Bethel family. Cantor,
okay,
lead
page
us.
128, everybody, top of the page. We all know this one, so let's sing it. And you can put your arms around each other if you'd like. Just sway back and forth. Here we go. Hine matov u'manayim Shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim Shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov Shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov Shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim Shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim Shevet achim gam yachad. Need everybody clapping. Hine, hine, hine.
Matov u'manayim Shevet achim gam yachad. Hine, hine, hine. Matov u'manayim Shevet achim gam yachad.
הנה מה טוב
ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד.
הנה מה טוב
ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד.
הנה מה טוב ומנעים
שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד.
הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד.
הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד.
הנה מה טוב,
הנה מה טוב. יה לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. יה לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. יה לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. יה לה 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 לה.
הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. Okay, page 131. Thank you, Frank. We missed you. Okay. Page 131.
We really have.
Psalm 96, bottom paragraph. Yismechu hashamayim. Yismechu hashamayim. Yismechu hashamayim. Yismechu hashamayim. Betagel haaretz. Yismechu hashamayim. Yismechu hashamayim. Yismechu hashamayim. Betagel haaretz. Yiramayam. Yiramayam.
Yiramayam lo.
Yiramayam. Yiramayam. Yiramayam lo. Yiramayam. Yiramayam. Yiramayam lo. Yiramayam. Yiramayam. Yiramayam lo. Yismechu hashamayim. Yismechu hashamayim. Yismechu hashamayim. Betagel haaretz. Okay, page 138, L'chador D. We'll do our jazz version tonight. There you go. He remembers it. We'll do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9.
La 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 la. La 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 la. Lecha lecha dodi likrat likrat kala. Panei panei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha lecha dodi likrat likrat kala. Panei panei Shabbat nekabala. La 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 la. Lecha dodi likrat likrat kala. Panei panei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha lecha dodi
likrat kala.
Penei penei Shabbat nekabala la 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 la
Shamor v'zachor
b'dibur echad Hishmiyanu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad
L'shem otiferet v'litehi la 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 la
Lecha dodi likrat kala Penei penei Shabbat nekabala
Everybody.
Chadodi likrat kala Panei Shabbat nekabala Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha
Ki mekor
habraka
merosh mikedem nisucha So ma'aseh b'machshavat techin la 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 la
Chadodi likrat kala Panei Shabbat nekabala Lecha dodi likrat kala
Penei Shabbat nikabela
Oreri Kiva ori shidaberi
Kavod Adonai alaych nigla la 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 lecha dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nikabela Lecha dodi likrat kala
Panei Shabbat nekabela
Bo vive
shalom ateret bala Gam besimcha u'vetzola Toch emunei am segula Bo ichala Lecha dodi likrat kala Panei Shabbat nekabala Lecha dodi likrat kala Panei Shabbat nekabala la 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 Lecha dodi likrat kala Panei Shabbat nekabala Lecha dodi likrat kala Panei
Shabbat nikabela. I got to tell you something. I think you can probably go across this country. You will not hear Lecha dodi played any better than Richie plays it here.
That's right, yes.
Richie's the greatest.
He's the best.
We swing it. Okay. All right. We're going to Shalom Aleichem, page 142. For the past few weeks, we've been doing a lovely melody by Debbie Friedman. This is one of the last melodies that she wrote, and unfortunately, she never got to record it. She passed away, and she left this music, and she thought this is one of her best, and I agree. Now, when we get to the last verse, you'll see it says, Tzeitchem l'shalom, which means depart in peace. She changed that one word. Shuvchem l'shalom, return to us in peace. We ask the angels to return to us every week. Okay, here we go. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet,
Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shuvchem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 144. Yitkadash, Yitkadash Mecha. Amen. Yamad V'rach Kerutei V'amleik Malkutei. V'chayechon uvyomechon uvayedechon Beit Yisrael. Bagola, Bagola, Uvizman Karimeru. Amen. Yesh Rabbi Bevorach, Leolam Olam Maya. Yitbarach, Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yitbahar, Yitromam, Yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemei Dekudeshah, Avichu, Ve'elam in Koberchata, V'shirata, Tushbechata, V'nechemata, Damiran Ve'alma, V'imru, Amen. We rise for the Baruch Hu. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Please be seated. And Shai, would you read the Ma'ariv Aravim 148? Would you read it in Hebrew?
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר בדברו מעריב ערבים בחוכמה פותח שערים בתבונה משנה עיתים ומחליף את הזמנים מסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו בורא יום ולילה גולל אור מפני חושך וחושך מפני אור מעביר יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב ערבים.
Amen. And Scott, would you please read on page 150?
And by the way, he didn't speak a word of Hebrew until he took lessons here for the past 3 years.
I know. And you notice that accent. He got the resh right.
So thank you to the teachers here.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, it's Shabbat. Okay. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, B'nai Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Amen. Please rise for the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Aved. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Aved. We continue with V'ahavta on page 154.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Okay, Hannah, are you ready? And your cousin, we're going to, just in a moment, and Zoe can come up to it, and I'll let you know in about 1 minute, okay? Okay, well, we'll wait, but just wait. Your turn is coming up. Meanwhile, we're going to do Mi Chamocha on page 158.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, Nora tehilot, osei fele, Nora tehilot, osei fele. Malkutecha ra'uvanecha, Pokea yam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Zelianu ve'amru, Zelianu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osei fele, Nora tehilot osei fele.
And we continue together as a congregation on page 160 for the Hashkivenu. Grant, O God, that we lie down together. Ready? Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace, and raises up our guardian to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel, for your name's sake. Be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, you can do this with.
Any recycled children, stand up.
Vishamru. Very good. That's good. Et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam le'olam. Vishamru. B'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat. Sawyer, remember you do this. You point to yourself, then you point to God, and you do this. Oti le'olam, oti le'olam. Good, that was great. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'olam berit olam. Make six. And then you got to point at the sky.
Et ha-shamayim.
Then you point at the earth. That was great. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael ha-Shabbat. Oh, you're going to help the hollow. Okay. Now you got to make 7. That's it. 7. Because on the 7th day, God rested.
Shabbat vayinafash.
Shabbat vayinafash. Shabbat vayinafash. Okay, ready? Pick up your noisemakers. Here we go. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Okay, you can go back now to your seats. And I can't tell you how many hearts we're getting for you guys.
Oh, my God.
Wow, look at all those hearts people are sending your way.
That
they
was
loved
one of the
it.
most spirited Vishamrus we've ever had.
Wasn't that? That was great. Thank you. It would have even been better had Zoe been here. But, next Shabbos. We rise for the tefillah, and that can be found on page 166. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu V'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov
Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor, HaNorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei HaKol, Vezocher Chazdei Avod Vimot, Umevi Gula L'Neitem, Lema'an Shemo B'Ava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Metim, Atah Rav Yehoshia, Morit Hatal, Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechayei Metim Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim, Berofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Baal Gevurot, Umidomela, Melech Meimid, Umechayei, Umatzmiach Yeshua,
V'ne'emanat al hakayot metim.
Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei
Hametim.
Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh kadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha tzela. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh, and we say,
Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. And we continue together at the top of page 175. Together, ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha yera na'avod. We continue on page 177. Once more in the English. This time we'll do the second paragraph. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us. You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. We continue with Shalom Rav on 178.
Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon, lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'kol het ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב, ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
What American has not complained about our system of government? Oh, the American system of government is very complicated. It's a very complex system. And sometimes we get fed up with it, quite frankly. And we wonder, we go, look at the Senate, you know? The Senate. You've got 2 senators from each of the 50 states, 100 of them, right? You have Wyoming with less than 1 million people with 2 senators. And you know, the people in California go, what's that about? We have 40 million people. We have 2 senators. How come these cowboys over in Wyoming can thwart the will of big states like New York and Illinois and California? And then, you know, when we go to vote for a president, you know, we speak of one person, one vote. But you know that's not the way it is. We have this thing called the Electoral College. You don't vote directly for the president. And it's happened twice in the last 20 years where a candidate for president of the United States has won the popular vote. And yet, that person wasn't allowed to be the president. Why? Because we have this thing called, and nobody quite understands it, the Electoral College. What happened to one person, one vote? Shouldn't the majority of Americans choose the president? Well, you know, you think this is a complicated system. You think this government, that our politicians fight and they're paralyzed with gridlock. You haven't seen anything until you've lived in Israel for a while, right? Wow, you think this system of government is crazy. Ugh. You know, in Israel, you have only one deliberative body. It's called the Knesset. It's always had 120 members. And you know, if you were to make Aliyah, let's say you were to pick up your family and move to Haifa, and you lived up there in the Carmel, lovely neighborhood, and you meet your Israeli neighborhood, and you say, "Who's our member of the Knesset?" He would say, "There's no such thing." What do you mean there's no such thing? Who's my member of the Knesset? When I was back in the United States, when I lived in Cleveland, I had a member of Congress who was my congressperson, and I could complain to them or petition them. Well, guess what? Nobody in Israel votes for the members of Congress, for the members of the Knesset. What do you mean? It's a democracy. Of course it's a democracy. It's the only real democracy in the Middle East. Well, this is the way it works. The parties in Israel submit what they call lists. You don't vote for the members of the Knesset members. You vote for the party. And the party that gets, they distribute the number of seats to the parties according to the percentage of the vote that they get. Well, guess what? In 73 years, no party has ever had a majority of the seats in the Knesset. You need 61. You need 61 seats to form a government. So what do? So, the president of the United States, of Israel, the president is an honorary position. He or she's appointed for 7 years. They're the titular head of state. So what the president of Israel does is he or she invites the party, the head of the party with the most seats, and invites them to form a coalition government. They say you get 45 days. You're the head of the Likud party or Yesh Atid or the Labor Party. It doesn't matter. You get 45 days, and the president says, "Okay, see if you can sew together, a government of at least 61 members and come back. And you can be the prime minister, the leader of that party becomes the prime minister, and you have a government. Well, this has been a system that has annoyed so many Israelis over the years, because you get these little smidgen parties. It used to be you only needed 1% of the vote to be able to get some representatives. They've raised that in Israel. Now you got to get, I think it's 3.5% is the threshold. You have to get at least. They thought that would reduce the number of parties, but no, it hasn't happened that way. This last election that was just held a few weeks ago, there were 39 parties. 39 parties submitted lists. Wow, what a ballot that must have looked like. Must have gone on for pages and pages. Only 13 of the parties got to the threshold of 3.5%. And so over the years, these little tiny parties, sometimes they were religious parties, they would be the kingmakers. Somebody would be, I'm up to 59. I got 59 coalition members. I need another two, and you'd find some little religious party, and you would invite them in, and of course they would have demands. I'm not coming into your government unless you give me certain cabinet posts, and of course the Orthodox, the ultra-Orthodox, have held an enormous amount of power and influence over the personal lives of Israelis. Secular Jews don't like this one bit. And it has annoyed secular Israelis to no end that these little parties, the ultra-Orthodox, make up about 10% of Israel, and yet they have said, we're not going to come to your government. This goes all the way back to Ben-Gurion's time. We're not going to join the government unless you give us an exemption from military duty. Shai, and every male in his family is served in the Israeli army. If you belong to a Haredi group, if you're an ultra-Orthodox Jew, you're exempt. And that annoys that. And here's the thing. I'm going to just read you some of the parties here. There's the Likud party. That would be, it's a pretty conservative party, and of course it's associated with Benjamin Netanyahu. There is the Kadima party, which is a pretty liberal party. And there's a little breakaway. I used to like, the Kadima party actually was started by Ariel Sharon. It was conservative, sort of moderate, There was the Meretz party, very liberal. But guess what? They had an argument. There's now the Tenuah party, which means the movement, headed by a politician that I happen to like. Her name is Tzipi Livni. There is Yesh Atid. Now, this is a name that's going to be very important in the next few years. Yesh Atid and Yamina. Yesh Atid literally means there is a future. It's led by Yair Lapid, a former anchor person on Israeli television. And it's a pretty moderate party, believes in two states, Palestinian state and of course, the state of Israel. But there's another party you've heard about, the Yamina party, headed by someone who's almost 180 degrees on the other side of the political spectrum. The Yamina party, headed by Naftali Bennett. I'll get to what's going on in a minute. You have the Shas party, which is an ultra-religious party. You have the Unified Torah party. Now get this. This has got to really annoy you. The United Torah party is a non-Zionist party. Refuses to officially recognize the state of Israel. But they've held cabinet posts. They will, because on principle they won't take the minister's job, but they'll take the deputy minister's job, and they have their hand out getting all sorts of things from the government, but they don't represent they don't accept the state of Israel, and yet they're in the government. I've figured that if you can. In this last election, you had a number of Arab parties. Balad and Ra'am Ta'al. I hope I did the Arabic pronunciation well. You have this Ra'am party run by a man by the name of Mansour Abbas. He's an Islamist. But guess what? He's actually got enough representation to seat some members of in the Knesset. There is a small socialist party made up of Jews and Arabs. They're secularists, Jews and Arabs. It's called Hadash. It's the Democratic Front. So what's happening right now? So you've got this crazy system. So you have a coalition that is going to be headed up. And remember, a government, you have to have an election every 4 years officially in Israel. But a government can fall any time when one of the parties in the coalition pulls out their seats. Israel has had 4 elections in the last 2 years. It's chaos. You talk about gridlock in this country? No, we don't know from gridlock. The Israelis really know this. The one thing that all of these we have established. Apparently, President Herzog has originally invited Netanyahu to form a government. He had, Likud had, I think, 30 seats or something. He couldn't do it. The one thing that so many Israelis can agree on right now, they don't like Netanyahu. We think in this country, well, he's the prime minister. He must be very popular. He's, maybe 25%, 30% of Israelis have voted for him. And he has made a lot of enemies. And, he's charged with corruption right now. We don't know what he's going to do. That's not to say that he hasn't done some good things, but he's made a lot of enemies. Even in his own party. Naftali Bennett was his understudy, was his protege, and got fed up with him. And pulled out of Likud, formed this party called Yamina, which means toward the right. And he's even more right-wing than Bibi Netanyahu. And he has gone into a power-sharing agreement with Yair Lapid from Yesh Atid. Now, Naftali Bennett has said, I would rather die than see a Palestinian state. Yair Lapid said, well, maybe, if we can do it, we're open. He's open to it. He's much more moderate. Quite different. Now, they are in a power-sharing agreement. Bennett will be the prime minister for 2 years, and then it'll be handed over to Lapid. But also in this coalition are any number of parties. Oh, I can't remember them all. Included in the party, in this coalition, is Ra'am. This this Islamic party with 4 seats. How could they all be together? No shot. Now, the nice thing from, I think, a Reform Jewish point of view and a secular Israeli point of view is, for the first time in decades and decades, there are no religious parties in the coalition. And that is really kind of it's a victory in itself from the point of view of many of us. There is the Yisrael Beitenu party, which is a Russian party. Pretty conservative. You have also, and so you have the widest, the broadest coalition that you could imagine. What do they all have to? What's bringing them all together? I think 2 things. They don't like Netanyahu. They all wanted to they were all sick of Netanyahu, and Another thing is, I think just on a patriotic level, I think they came to realize that all of the squabbling was hurting Israel. You know, in my point of view, and Shai and I over the years have talked about this, Israel doesn't have a lot to worry about from external enemies. Yeah, Iran is a serious threat, but, you know, nobody's going to invade Israel anytime soon. Israel has as many internal enemies, divisions within it, as it does external enemies. And, you know, the lesson that we're learning in America is we can be our own worst enemies. You know, forget the Russians, forget the Chinese. You know, we are our own worst enemies. What did Okopogo say in the funny papers? We have met the enemy, and the enemy is us. I think Israeli politicians had that kind of moment, you know. We got to get this together. And so there are lots of issues. They've decided there's a gentleman's agreement. We're not going to go near the Palestinian issue. You know, it's just too hot to handle. There are all sorts of issues, domestic issues, that are facing Israel right now. And all of them, the Arab parties, the Yamina and Yesh Atid, they all agree on this. We have a lot of things that we have to attend to domestically in Israel. There is a growing wealth gap between the rich and the poor. Something, when I lived on kibbutz back in the 60s and early 70s, everybody was poor. There was no gap. We were all in it together. And there was a sense of, hey, you know, there isn't an upper class and a lower class. It's not that way in Israel anymore these days. Just like in America, there is a great gap. There is a growing gap between very rich Israelis and poor Israelis. There is a housing crisis in Israel these days that for young people, if you've seen you think the prices of houses are expensive here in South Florida, you ought to see Tel Aviv or Jerusalem. A young couple, it's murder to get for a young couple, a professional couple, to get an apartment anywhere in Israel at a reasonable price. There is the question of the Haredim, military service for the ultra-Orthodox. Finally, they got a coalition without the ultra-Orthodox. Here's some interesting things. I just found out. I read Haaretz this evening. I just was interested. Listen to this. 6 openly gay Knesset members are now seated. Can you think? Isn't that incredible? Out of 120, 6 openly gay people are now in the Knesset. Guess what? The first Reform rabbi is now a member of the Knesset, an Israeli-born rabbi. I got his name here. So I think I met him. Kariv. Kariv is his name. Gilad Kariv. We have a Reform rabbi now in the Knesset. That's wonderful. This is the first time. Now, some people, I read an article today in Haaretz that said there's one thing that the Likud did that was good, that Begin did that was good, and maybe they've backtracked a little bit on it. In the early years of Israel, Sephardic Jews were underrepresented. It was true until Begin. Begin brought in the Sephardic Jews in large numbers, and there's very few Sephardic Jews in leadership positions in this government. If it goes through, it's not a done deal. It looks like it's going to go through, and that's unfortunate. I think somehow. It would have been. I hope they address that because, in a democracy, you want as many voices as you get. It's annoying to have all those voices, but it's necessary, and that's what a democracy is about. So, it's interesting. It's interesting to see some of the things that are being said in Israel. Naftali Bennett. A guy that I grew up in the labor Zionist movement. So The Labor Party in Israel would be my party. Meretz, maybe one of the more liberal parties, would be if I was there. That's probably who I would be attracted to. Or a moderate party, a little right of center, I probably could deal with. But Naftali Bennett is considered to be a far, far right-wing guy. He said, never, never am I going to deal with a Palestinian entity. And here he's sitting with Mansour Abbas, an Islamist. You know what he said yesterday? He said, this is a very nice man. Apparently Mansour Abbas during the riots that happened in Lod, he went to a synagogue to say, you know what, we don't approve of this. Israeli Arabs don't approve of this. Yeah, there's some crazies there. And he said, this is a good man. And he has also said, well, maybe I would accept some sort of Palestinian entity in 40% of the West Bank. You know, when people have to sit down and listen to each other, sometimes they I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen in Israel, the only democratic country in the Middle East. But it's interesting, isn't it interesting? And we wish Israel the best. Mazel tov, and our prayers and our good wishes go with Israel. And maybe they'll give us some pointers one of these days on how we can straighten out our crazy.
Do you know the name of the reformer rabbi who's on the Knesset? Because we're looking.
Oh, well, not for another year.
Sharon, get the name.
Gilad Karib. Wouldn't that be cool? That would be so cool. There are a number. We've been ordaining a lot over the last. Okay. Yeah, to make a note. Maybe but not for another year.
No.
Okay. So, can we have some birthday music, please, Maestro? Happy birthday to Sabrina Chamades. Bernie Schinder, former president of our congregation. Sheila Margolis is having a birthday this week. Sheila, whose granddaughter, Sydney, is being called to the Torah for the first time tomorrow. And Diane Berman. I have a special place in my heart for Diane Berman. She was on the search committee that brought me here to Temple Bethel 25 years ago. Michelle Shore, former member of our congregation. And a hero from the Korean War. Where is he? Where is Chuck? Chuck!
All right.
Chuck Levine.
Levine.
His birthday is Sunday. And Matthew Shatton is having a birthday. So we bless God who conceived you in heaven. We say, blessed be the parents who brought you into this world, and blessed be the day that you were born. Let's sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy
Dear
birthday,
Chuck.
And everyone, Chuck included. Happy birthday to you. Yay. And now, Marvin and Bonnie, why don't you come here and stand here? Come on. Come on up.
I don't want to.
This is for you and for Jivon Pri and Jeffrey Fox. They're having anniversaries. This song is for you. You lovebirds, you. Look into each other. Dance. You can't dance. This song is for you and for everyone, for lovers everywhere who are celebrating anniversaries. I don't need no other lover. You know this, Cantor? You got the words?
Did I sing it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can sing it.
I know.
This is
I thought he thought it was me.
Scott, we're waiting for you.
I'm lucky.
All right.
got the words. See if the Cantor knows these words by George.
Something in the way she moves
I listen.
attracts me like no other lover. Something in the way she woos me. I don't want to leave her now. You know I believe in how. Somewhere in her eyes, something she knows. I don't know the Beatles songs.
That I don't need no other lover.
Keep going, Rabbi.
Something in the way she shows me. Don't want to leave her now. I don't want to leave, and how?
Keep going.
Da, 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 da.
I know this part. Play it, Rich. Come on. You're asking me, will my love grow? Will our love grow? I don't know. I don't know. You stick around and they show. I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of high.
Okay.
All right, we tried.
Take the masks off.
All right,
we'll
all right,
allow
all right.
a little smooch here. Take them there.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
That's beautiful. And now we'd like to know about those people who are in need of a refuah,
That's what I
a
was
refuah shlema, a speedy and full recovery
I
from
have a
whatever
list.
is ailing them. Russell Dalen is someone that I know who's
Right.
in need
He's
of
doing
healing.
better today. believe
Is
it or
he
not. Yeah, I
really?
spoke with
I'm
Jeanette
so
today.
glad.
He's doing all right today. All right, we're going to say a prayer for Jason Schoenfeld, Eitan Biran, Judy Fallon, Kate Van Voorhees, Jacob Solomon, Hudson Dome, Bob Cohenchus. Yes, in the back. Go ahead, Lillian. Okay, anybody else?
Oh, yes, yes.
All right. We are on page
370 something.
370 something.
Good page.
371. 371, everybody. Let's envision good health for all these people. Misheperach avotenu mekor habracha limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheperach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We rise for the Elenu on page 586.
Sedef. Gotta open the door.
People wonder how I remember that. 586, the destruction of the.
Aleinu leshabayach ladon hakol, latek
never looked.
gdula liyotzeh bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot,
Velo samanu kamishpachot adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor alenu kechol hamonam,
ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
This Shabbat, we observe the Yortsides of Carol Arnold, Stanley Beckerman, Louis Davis, Betty Dolch, Molly Elfand, Joseph Feldman, Charles Frank, William Friedman, Alexander Gaines, David Gantman, Charles Gerd, Sylvia Goldberg, Stuart Goner, Benjamin Harris, Benjamin Hyman, Sung Sim Jong, Jolan Klein, Ida Kaufman, Jean Laufman, Hyman Lefkowitz, Sarah Mailman, Louis Mandel, Blossom Monchik, Lawrence Nathan, Mildred Pfeiffer, Sylvia Puritz, Yetta Rice, George Robin, Samuel Ross, Irene Schmid, Harry Schneider, William Silber, Fanny Solomon, Bernard Sternlight, and Marcella Whitriol. And as always, we remember the 6 million, and we are presently in the Shloshim period for Rain Fialo and Larry Zigarelli. The Mourner's Kaddish can be found on page 598. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shamei Rabbah Be'alma Devrach Gerutei V'yamlich Malchutei B'chai Echon V'yom Echon Uv'chayei Dechol Beit Yisrael B'galav Yizman Kariv Imru Amen Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam Olamei Lamaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmeid kutsha b'rechu le'olam min kol berchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata da'amiran v'alma v'imru amen Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen Osei shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Please be seated as Scott has some announcements that he would like to share with you.
He's going to do them in Hebrew.
He's going to do them in Hebrew, yes.
Namalo.
Right there. All right.
Hodaot.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
All right, that's getting better.
That's good. Good start.
All right, yeah. All right, so tonight's music is sponsored by Bonnie and Marvin Ludeman in honor of their anniversary, 21 years, and Bernie Schindler, who was 21 at one time. It's the birthday. Happy birthday, Bernie. Flowers are sponsored by Ruth Gantman in memory of her husband, Daniel Gantman. And Shelley and Jeffrey Margolis in honor of their daughter Sydney, who's getting bar mitzvahs tomorrow.
Yes.
Wow. So mazel tov, Sydney, and to the family. The Oneg to Go is sponsored by Shelley and Jeff Margolis in honor of Sydney's bat mitzvah. And, of course, if you would like to sponsor an Oneg or flowers.
Or music.
Yes.
Yep.
Or
The Oneg to go.
Yeah.
anybody to come up here and say hello, call the office. So tomorrow, 9:30, we continue with Torah study on Zoom. And then at 10:30, Shabbat morning service, and, of course, it's Sydney's bat mitzvah. Sunday at 8:30 a.m., we have the Brotherhood Bikers, and everyone is welcome. It's going to be a great trip. So the bicycle riding around East Hollywood, the Lakes area. And you'll learn a few things about the Lakes area. I'll give you some information. I think Brent Speckler said he'll help. Hopefully he'll be there. So it'll be a great trip. You have a bicycle, or if you run very fast and you could keep up with us, come with us. Or get an Uber to follow us. I don't care. Come come join us. So you can still register online or just show up that Sunday morning. And but if you want, just go on the trending and go to the Brotherhood page. It's on the website. So Tuesday, everything you always wanted to know about Judaism with Cantor Manny on Zoom. And then Thursday at 9 a.m., we have our morning minyan in the chapel. And that's followed by bagels and coffee. Right, Donnie? Donnie, you getting enough bagels? Good.
Good.
And, all right, well, we'll get more. Then 10:30, they have the sisterhood meeting, but that's on Zoom. Next Friday, we have our Shabbat services here in the sanctuary. And guess what? Reservations are no longer required. So we're here. This is week 8. Isn't this a week 8? Yeah, give everyone a hand for coming. You know what? But we need to see you, right? You know, it's been a while. You read the newspapers. The probability rate is down. I know it's not over. Some people are still frightened. But we're coming. If you see who's coming in here, we had, what was it, when did we have the graduation for the preschool? Last Thursday?
It was Tuesday.
Tuesday. Oh, Tuesday.
We had about 200
like
people.
a week.
Yeah, no, about 200 million people here.
Yeah.
No, it was packed. It was unbelievable. So come in, right? You're watching us. Come in. We're still doing separation. If you want, you could stay in the back. You could stay in a corner. But, you know, we have to start getting together, folks. I mean, like I said before, we can't continue living inside that bubble. Things are coming down. If you got vaccinated, basically you're 90% free at this point. So take that chance. Come on down.
Look at all the people that were watching online. This is just on Facebook, and there are lots of other people watching on our streaming service. So Bill and Lillian and Barbara and Renee and Pepina and Agnes and Nancy and Judy and Marlene and Brent. Maybe you could come next Friday.
Yeah, let's come on.
Come on.
Come
on down.
Take that step, folks. You know, you're going to enjoy yourself. It's nice to watch us on Zoom, but I'm telling you, it's a lot better when you could see everyone together here. It really makes a big difference. I mean, I'm looking at people who have their masks that are still on, and I think I'm at a surgical convention. But other than that, you know, come on in. Camp Keshet starts this summer, so starting June 14th, that's just around the corner. And so you have little kids that are 3 months up to 7 years old. So you could come, register those kids, and if you have friends that have children that age, tell them about this camp. It's a great camp. And save the date. This is very important. Because someone is leaving. What? Shay? Oh, Shy. That's Shy. So listen, as we all know, Shy is leaving. But we can't just let him go out the door without saying a real goodbye. So we're going to have a farewell brunch for him, and that's Sunday, June 27th, from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. So let us know you're coming. But it's going to be a fantastic event. And we get to see Shai and his family. And I'm hoping, you know, I told Shai, said, it's better not that we're losing you, but your family is more important, and his children. And we don't want to lose the little guy, you know, when it comes for the high holidays. So I know it's a conservative temple, and he can't do anything there. So he could come here, you know. We are welcome, and we know him.
You know, some of my best friends are conservative Jews. You know, really.
So anyway, and just as a reminder, of course, please open up trending. Open up those emails. You know, it's funny how people say, "When's that?" I didn't know about it. Everyone who's a member gets an email, and it's from the temple. It's called Trending. Open up the email. All right, there's going to be something that you're going to like, and you read it, and there's things you don't want to do. You don't have to come, but you'll see things. And if I didn't say, or we didn't have these messages, for example, you wouldn't know about Shai leaving, or Sunday's bicycle trip at 8:30.
That's
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. Well, Shai, I'm not going to be at your brunch. I'm going to be out of town, but, you know, I'm going to miss you. We have worked well together, and not only have you done your job with great skill, which is, you know, the bottom line. When you're working with somebody, you want to know they're competent. And you have been more than competent. We're one of the few congregations that actually grew a bit, not by leaps and bounds, but we actually grew during during the pandemic. We were going, we just hope we don't lose too many members. Somehow, we were saying, well, if we only lose a little bit of money, if we have a deficit of, I don't know, a few $1,000s, we'll be able. We have a surplus this year. We have had such engagement, and we really have. We've really pulled together, and you've been part of the team, and you've led so many great things, and so I was wanting to share it.
Just so you know, that's confidential. It stays in this room.
We need your money so badly. Please keep those donations coming. Did I say we had a surplus? But isn't that something remarkable? Isn't that something remarkable? And it's so much credit must go to Shai. Shai's not only a very skilled administrator, he's a mensch. And he's my friend, and I'm going to miss him. But, he and his family are always going to be part of this family. I'm looking at Psalm 120. It says, Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha al yad yaminecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yakaka, vayarech balayla lo vayarech balayla. Adonai yishmarecha mikol ra, yishmor et nafshecha, Adonai yishmor tzeitcha, uvoecha me'ata v'yad olam. May God be your guardian in all of your endeavors, in all of your travels. May Adonai be your protection at your right hand. May the sun not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. God will guard you. May God guard you from all harm, you and your family. And may God guard you, your life, and give you prosperity and happiness and contentment. And God will guard you. We know God will guard your going and coming now and forever. And here is a little bit of a gift. It's a Kiddush cup. I spoiled the surprise. But when you fill it with wine on Friday nights, you'll think of you'll think of us, and I hope you will remember us as fondly as we will remember you. Okay, so is Hannah here? And Hannah and Sawyer want to come up and help me with the motzi? Is she in the washroom again? Oh well. Oh, she went back to Grandma's house. Well, come on. Here you go. Help me with the motzi. Okay. Okay, you got to... Okay, here we go. Oh, good. Here you go. Hello. Hello, Sawyer.
Does Zoe go to Grandma's house?
Oh, she went to Grandma's house.
Yeah, because she wouldn't sit.
Okay. All right. All right. Would you help me with the motzi?
Challah.
Would you help me with the motzi?
I'm gonna eat.
Okay, here, you're going to eat him. Oh, you're going to eat me? Okay. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rising in song together. As our joyful prayer is said, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech olam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. There you go. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Bounce us out with a nice zmira, a nice song. Shabbat Shalom. And Agnes, don't worry. There's enough challah here.
For Richie.
For Richie. Richie will get some challah. Don't worry about it.
All right.
One to your dad. What a night. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shalom Alechem.
Evenu Shalom Alechem. Oh, that's good.
Evenu
Shalom Alechem. Evenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Alechem. Evenu Shalom Alechem. Evenu Shalom Alechem. Evenu Shalom Alechem. Eveinu Shalom, Shalom,
Shalom Aleichem.